and welcome to the Crosshaven Podcast, where techs are going to be talking to techs. That's basically the idea of it. I'm a tech, I'm a shop owner, love computers, love repairing them, love selling them, and I'm going to be interviewing other techs around the world, seeing what tools they use, what tips they have, what simple things, what phones they use and everything. So if you're a tech out there listening, or anyone who has any interest in technology, this is going to be nerdy enough for you. Okay, it's where nerds unite. And I am so lucky for the first podcast to have the dramatic duo of two brilliant people who are great friends of mine as well. They're working over in Wales. She's English though, he's Irish. I'm Irish. It sounds like a bad joke. Two Irish men and an English woman doing a podcast. But here we go. So, first of all, hello, Graham. Hello, Poppy. How are you doing?
Hi, Cormac. Thanks for inviting us along to do the show.
It's lovely.
I know. Thank you so much for it. Now, I'm going to have to pretend I don't know you a bit just to get a bit of information here on this. So, if you wouldn't mind, tell me a bit. Do you work from a home office? Do you work for a shop? Tell me a little bit of your backstory for a couple of minutes.
So, Celtic Computers has been going since 2015. We have a shop premises, which we've been in the new premises for about 3 years now. So we have a retail shop and then like a workspace area as well. We do sales and repairs, laptops, PCs, custom built gaming PCs, peripherals, anything tech related. We're the go-to guys around here for that.
Excellent. So basically, if I have the computer that I need repaired, I'm into your shop. Absolutely fantastic. Tell me something there now, just as a matter of interest. Do you sell any particular brands of computers or just anything in general?
We sell a bit of everything. So on the laptops front, we sell only reconditioned laptops.
Yeah.
The brands that we tend to favor are Dell, Lenovo, HP. We do sell others as well. We sell Acer and Asus and a few other brands. We will only sell known brands though. We don't go near the smaller upcoming like Geotech and stuff like that, just because the build quality is uncertain. But yeah, predominantly with the laptops, we stick to those brands. We sell a range of everything from entry level up to high-end gaming laptops and everything in between. And we do a lot of gaming PCs, stuff like this here.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to ask you about the gaming, definitely.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the business, I have to say.
One thing I love about you, I've known you both, is that you have very, very high standards when it comes to tech. And also, if anyone's listening, check out their Facebook page and look at their shop. Oh, they're just class the way they have it set up. And they're also extremely passionate and have high standards about technology. I know this from talking and knowing what they sell as well. They just won't do the crap. They're not selling out. They do good stuff brilliantly, if you get my meaning. And actually that brings us up to kind of nearly the first topic, as I'm sure people listening to, techs out there listening to. Tell me, I hand in a laptop. What sort of tools do you use to diagnose? What do you do to back up? What's your procedures?
We've a range of different stuff. So software-wise, first of all, I suppose, Malwarebytes Tech Bench.
Yeah, fantastic bit of kit.
Explain that tool slightly to the peoples.
So I think most people know Malwarebytes. So it's from them. We've all been using Malwarebytes scanning tools for malware and spyware for a good many years. The Tech Bench it's an interesting tool. It kind of it brings lots of different tools together. So you've got the malware and virus checker. It's also got System Scanner, which will check the Windows operating system for errors and things. You've got lots of it kind of has stuff like the likes of CPU-Z has lots of info about the system, so it has all that there. Sort of, it's a good entry into any machine that you get into the shop to start running tests, to see what you're working with. You can then import your own tools into it, which is...
That's so handy.
Yeah.
It just makes it seamless to run hard drive scans and bits and pieces like that.
Which which brings us then to the other tools we use, which we've now kind of integrated them all with.
You have them all in there. Actually, one of the things I said, little tip, well, not tip, here's whenever I was staying in the Airbnb, I only do it purely, not that I'm paranoid, really, I couldn't care less about that. I do it because, I'm a tech and I need to do it. When I plug into the Wi-Fi, I'll always use the malware TechBench network scanner to see if there's any cameras. And always I'm disappointed that there's not. But, and what it does, without a shadow of a doubt, I know because I love this tool, is you put it in, and any techs listening should really look into it. You put it in and it just speeds up their whole process of checking the computer. And it's just brilliant altogether. And that's a good one, because you guessed the next question, then it integrates the other tools. So you can launch them all from one platform. It's just easier than having them on the USB. So what other tools are you using out there?
We have a huge library that we've built up over the years, and it's constantly evolving and changing. But I suppose the main ones are for checking hardware. First of all, we use Crystal Disk Info to check the initial stages of checking hard drives and SSDs for the health. Then if Crystal Disk Info throws up some errors, we'll dig a bit deeper with Hard Disk Sentinel, I think it's called.
Oh,
yeah, good piece of kit that. I mean, it's heavy. So we start with Crystal Disk, because if Crystal Disk says it's fine, we won't go any deeper. But if Crystal Disk has a caution on it, or unallocated sector count or anything, we'll use Hard Disk Sentinel then to get a breakdown of exactly what's going on in there. So that's hard drives. Then Fabs is a godsend.
Have to use.
Will you explain Fabs to the listeners?
I'll let the expert.
That's no worries. Go.
So Fabs is essentially, it's just a backup and data transfer package, but it takes all the work out of it. So it automatically goes through all user profiles. It will back up not just the data in the user profiles, but it will try and back up all your bookmarks and save passwords from your browsers. It will save your PST files from Outlook, or your mail files if you're using Windows Mail or Thunderbird or any other application. And it takes all the hard work out of it. You can even add in extra layers to Fabs to back up your Wi-Fi passwords and everything, to have them all transfer over.
I must actually, I haven't been doing that. I have to look at that. Hey, I learned something today. Anyway, that's my opinion of Fabs. It's made by a French gentleman called Fabrice. I think every tech should go out and build a statue of him in their village. That's how highly I think of it. It's cheap as chips. I think it's like 80 quid for a license for 3 years. You can use that license. I have it on 4 or 5 USB, so whenever I lose my USB, it's there, and it just brings a level of professionalism. If you hand in a computer, you're transferring the data over. It'll bring the screensaver, especially if you do a reinstall. I will change the screensaver so the customer actually realizes that they may have to put in the Wi-Fi passwords, which apparently now they don't either. It's just, and what's amazing about Fabrice is that on the very rare occasions you have a question, I won't say problem, a question. If you email him, he'll come back to you straight away. I'm guilty of this myself at times. Very seldom do I ever email anyone at the weekend and think they'll be answered. And I did a few years ago, which is out of order. But he answered 2 minutes later. I was like, no, I wasn't expecting you to answer that. It's just a level of brilliance out there, It
really is. Especially as it's one guy. I mean, the complexity within Fabs. You would expect this to be coming out of a software giant.
Oh, without a doubt. And if the software giant bought it, they would put it up. They pay what price would you pay for Fabs? Literally anything.
That's it. He could be charging per use.
Oh yeah. He could say, I want your firstborn, I want your child. There you go. Take your child, man. It's not a problem. Yeah, it's just something else. Tell me actually, and I'll go back there. we don't get viruses as much, but like you'll use the Malwarebytes. But what other tools would you use for viruses now? What do you check?
It varies. I mean, the days. So I used to have a whole library just for virus and malware scanning.
Right.
So Malwarebytes, Super Anti-Spyware, Kaspersky Scanner used to be a regular one that I used.
R-Kill was another one.
There was,
Hitman Pro.
sorry, go on.
Hitman Pro, which I still use occasionally.
I gotta say, we tend not to use them that much anymore. So I think it's become, with the introduction of stuff like Fabs and lots of other great packages out there, it's become so easy now to just blitz a machine and bring them bang up to date at the same time without losing anything.
It's
almost not worth digging to get out rootkits and things like that anymore.
And if you have any doubts like that, in that there's still something there, it's time to reinstall and put everything back on. But you know what? Now, before people start thinking it's too easy, it's easy at this stage because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the knowledge of it. Actually, that brings up another question. We'll go off topic slightly because I should have actually asked you at the start. How did you both get into tech?
I've been into tech since I was a kid. I first got into it through curiosity, pure curiosity. I convinced my dad to let me buy a computer. I say let me buy it because it was on the Never Never at the time.
Never, yeah. Do you have that expression in England, Bobby? The never, never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I was around 12 or 13, something like that. And basically I was like, look, I'll put all my pocket money towards it every month and it'll be a family computer and it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Like nobody else in the house had any interest. They didn't even know what a computer was.
What computer was it, I have to ask? Can you remember?
It was a Time. Do you remember Time? PC?
I got into tech very late in life. Actually, my first computer was a VIC-20, but my dad, I think he got it off the back of a lorry. I'll be honest with you. I think the statute of limitations is gone now at this stage. I think he might have held up a Commodore, but whatever he got it, and I didn't get into computers till I was close to 40 again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And Poppy, what about you?
Can I just add on to Graham there? So I think even before the computers, I know when he was little, tiny, that he was the one taking apart every appliance in his house, every component, and breaking everything, breaking the telly with magnets and all the rest of it. So yeah, so it's like it's just been in his blood ever since.
I love. Actually, I'm glad you interjected there because. Actually, I'm the complete opposite in the sense that myself, I hear text saying that, like my friend Aaron there from Littleton IT's like that, breaking in, blah, blah, all that. Whereas I never take things apart. I very seldom, Steve works with me, he does all that. I kind of got more into the software element. And when I hear text talking about that, I kind of go, because I can't do it, man. I swear. Neve who works with me and is my partner. Neve does basically, if there's anything to be put together, tables or anything, that's Neve. I can't fucking, I'd be upside down in bits of table everywhere, That's it, like, yeah. So, Poppy, tell me, how did you get into it?
This guy.
Oh.
So I came over to the company full-time 3 years ago when we got the new shop. Prior to that, I'd work in the shop part-time between another full-time job just to help out now and then. But Graham teaches me everything I know.
Yeah, but Poppy, I know you have to have a passion for it at this stage, in a sense. When we were sitting down talking and all that, you're giving it as good as it gets, in a sense. That's a person doesn't learn that without the passion,
I love it because
that's where I knew that's why I was edging for there.
Every day is a school day. Like I'm constantly being challenged and learning new skills, and just I love it. Amazing stuff.
But like we have, in one sense, if you're into these sort of things, the greatest job in the world. Because I'm just looking at your setup there, like that's just your casual setup in the sense that I know it's not casually kind of thin, and I'm working on my setup, my studio. The sound's not great there at the moment, so excuse that. But like it's like Christmas Day. Even like anyone who's watching this live now and sees the background of your equipment and everything. There's days there where I'm coming in and I'm setting up stuff and playing around with stuff, and I'm kind of going, this is just amazing.
Yeah.
Now, but see, the thing about it, this is all very well, yes, techs are great, but there has to be, you have to rise above that then, in a sense. It turns into a business, and then there's the operational side of the things, which is which actually I'm asking which is good questions, like, the operational side of the things, because it was funny, we changed to a limited company this year, and for 2 or 3 weeks I was just doing paperwork, and Neve and myself, and Neve is brilliant at that, but I'm not. That's not my brain, But you have to learn it. You have to, the same way as you have to learn social media. But I remember I was giving Steve the laptop to repair, and I grabbed 2 off him one day, and I went, "You're not having these." I said, "I just want to stay. Just leave me do my computering," So the business side of it, it's Bodie who does the business side, is it?
That's kind of a mixed bag here, because I was running the business predominantly on my own in the early years.
Same as myself, yeah.
So for the first 5 years, I was pretty much running it on my own. So all the initial setup and everything was all me. But I kind of got to a stage where I couldn't go any further, because it was too much for one person. Trying to look after the business side of things and the repairs and the sales, and trying to be happy and in a good mood for customers walking through the door and everything. It was too much. So when Poppy joined me, joined the team, it totally turned it around.
Team, you and Celt.
Me and Celt. Yeah.
Oh yes.
He should be front and center. Sorry.
Mascot for anyone listening on a podcast. Yes, I'll have to do some descriptive terms.
But now Poppy's the shop manager.
Yeah.
So when I come into work in the morning now, it's brilliant. I love it, because I've got a list of jobs. I don't have to manage the everyday running of the shop. I don't have to manage the workload. I just have to do the jobs. I do what's on the list. I do the repairs that I have. Poppy looks after the day-to-day running of the shop. And then between us, it takes the load off both of us, so that between us, the actual back-end business side of things, we can kind of go at together, and neither of us gets completely burnt out by the rest of the day-to-day stuff, because we've it split up pretty well in the shop, the workload. So yeah,
the passion, I definitely see that. It has to. That's why I can see the passion of the two of you running right through. You like, I've seen a lot of tech shops out there, and some are brilliant, but some, obviously, like any shop, some of them, the passion is right straight through on it, and the business side, it definitely takes the two people on that, Now I must right. Actually, I'm going to ask another question here. Your own personal devices. I'll ask Poppy there first. Poppy, what phone are you using?
Samsung. Been asking around where I can get a nothing phone from. I hear they're all the rage now.
Yeah, the nothing phone. They're not actually a guy, Eddie is his name, a very good guy. He follows us on TikTok there. Drove down there a bit of a distance during the week to show the nothing phone 2 and all that. It's kind of like becoming a cult following over here. Yeah. And he will get the nothing. I know people he'll get it. So you use the Samsung phone, and do you have a laptop? Actually, a lot of techs mightn't have laptops. Do you use a laptop?
Yeah, so we have a laptop, a Chromebook, and then desktop computers each as well. So the Chromebook and the laptop are just sort of shared home devices. The laptop is it Dell XPS?
Oh yeah, they're nice.
Beautiful machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except the click.
Exactly, click.
I have a problem with things that click, by the way. I think that's why Neve ended up with that, but she mightn't be listening to this. And you have a personal desktop. You have 2 desktops each, or just one between you?
One each, yeah, at work.
At work, yeah, not at home.
All right. Are these specced out beasts?
So Graham has like a gaming spec PC, but you do like 3D rendering and video editing.
Come on, give us the specs there. And by the way, I'll step out of this conversation because I'm not the greatest when it comes to specs. So spec us out, nerd us out there, Graham.
Okay, it's not an animal by any means, but for an office PC, it's pretty hefty. I'm trying to think of the spec now. I think we've got a 9th or 10th Gen i7 in there.
Oh, okay.
There's a RTX 3060, so mid-range sort of machine.
How much RAM?
A 64 gig of RAM.
Yeah, which just seems a bit ridiculous.
It's just like, well, you got off to NASA there, Graham, are you? Got off to the old NASA. 64 gig RAM. Well, if you're doing 3D rendering, mostly, I'm just doing kind of office work, but I still got 32 gig and blah, blah, blah. I'll have to, I don't know what I have in that. And what phone are you using, Graham?
Samsung as well. So we're an Android household.
Yeah.
Graham said something controversial there lately when we were chatting to him. I think now I don't want to put you on the spot. That's the last thing I would do. But you said, I think, that real techs shouldn't use iPhones. Is that what
I completely stand by.
Oh, go on, Rand. Tell us why and get yourself cancelled by other techs.
If you're a tech and you've got an iPhone, you're not a tech. Like, I know.
I'm with him.
Words. What it is. So I hate the closed system of
my brother.
I think it's just iPhones are good. iPhones are great, the same as iPads. If you're just an end user and you just want stuff to do whatever it's designed to do. So I can't knock them as devices on their own. But if you're a techie, then you want to be able to dig a bit deeper. Like, I'll give you an example of like why I love open systems like Android and hate closed systems like iOS. Our TV at home, which happens to be a Samsung TV actually, so for example. But anyway, the TV at home, smart TV, has its own closed lockdown operating system that you can't do anything with. For some reason, every time we play a movie off a flash drive, if you rewind or fast forward, it turns on the subtitles.
Yeah.
Which is infuriating, but there's nothing you can do. So it's gotten to a point now where as soon as I rewind or pause or anything, before I even press play again, I automatically press the subtitles button because I know that have been turned on to turn them off, and then I play. That's an example of a closed system that you can't do anything with. So you just get used to working around it. If that was an open system like Android, then I'd be in there digging around, figuring out how to disable this, how to change something inside the machine to stop this from happening. And it's not a great example, but it's that.
No, I understand. I also understand Poppy sitting down just going, we just want to watch this, didn't we? We just want to watch it. Will you stop with the madness of the TV? That be TV number 4. You'll break. I do understand completely. Also, maybe don't download the movie. Whatever way, put in the USB, but we leave that aside. Go for it.
Obviously.
I concur. I think it's a case of really Apple is kind of like, oh, sure, they do brilliant, but it's kind of like you drive it. I don't know much about cars, so I'll butcher this analogy. The most boring estate car. It's going to be brilliant. It'll work. You'll get from A to B without breaking down, but I hate it. I cannot understand the closed system. It's just like I like Linux as well. I like Linux Mint. I'm not massive into that, but someone did say that like Apple is just Linux for kids with bright colors. That's all it is. It is. It's like, so I just like about even in nothing phone and stuff and all that, you can change things around and all that. Like you get an iPhone 13, you get the iPhone 14. I suppose a lot of Androids are getting like that anyway as well. Maybe it's just cut and paste, really, you know.
Yeah.
I know. And Poppy, Graham, we'll just the last couple of minutes, just a couple of more questions. Least favorite laptop out there?
MacBook Air. Not just MacBook Air. I instantly jumped to that because we were just talking about iPhones. But
it's definitely MacBooks.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. And any laptop that has every single component soldered onto the motherboard should be set on fire and burned. And
that's a right to repair conversation. This is just I gave up on repairing Macs as such. It's just ridiculous. Like one of the new Macs that you have to go. I think there's when you change the screen, the tech can't change the screen. You have to get a special code. Apple have to do it for our safety. And it was like, come on! I don't even want to go there with that crazy. No, we don't like that at all. Any other things that you hate?
Lots. I could make a whole podcast just on what I hate. But no, I'm gonna, because I hate it so much, I'll just leave it at that. Not just MacBook Airs, but like there's a lot of even brands I love like Lenovo and HP and Dell. They all have entry-level machines that have the RAM soldered on. They have even they say they've got an SSD and they don't. They have a eMMC.
I know those
soldered on storage unit. They're crap. They shouldn't exist. They shouldn't.
Well, you know what? We'll talk about another day about the antiviruses and all that. But like Lenovo, I love Lenovo. I love the ThinkPads. Love that. I love anything that doesn't click. Basically, doesn't matter what brand. But like we got ThinkPads in there lately, which are professional. You know, Windows 11 professional, yeah. And then you go to home versions, and the home versions have as much junkware, whereas they put in McAfee, which is junkware anyway. But they have all these things. Like I had my Lenovo pop up, one of the ones I was working at, pop up. This was a home one I was using for a few weeks. Pop up 2 days after I had out of the box, saying it had 300 issues, just the same as we'd say the other thing, and I could pay an extra 39 quid to. So I was like, are you effing joking me? Like it's just it takes away the whole user experience. Like you know, with Dropbox, all these things popping up. Then you go over to the professional ThinkPad range, and they have no junkware in there, and you're like, I think people have Stockholm syndrome and don't even agree with it. And Poppy, a question for you: since you got into tech 3 years ago, whenever, and you're passionate about it, have you lost many friends because you turned into a nerd?
You know,
I made many friends actually because we're a different bunch.
Honestly, my mum, so often I'll just be chatting to her and she's like, Poppy, who are you?
Yeah, who are you, Poppy? Yeah. There'll be an intervention. They'll all love him as a guy, but they'll go, no, Poppy, we have to have an intervention. It's very funny watching Eve's change down from a sociable, outgoing, fantastic human being to still is, but sweet, turning nerdy, more nerdy than it is, you know. Lads, you know something? We'll kind of wrap up there. Just anything you like to plug?
No, not really. This show, I think it's a great idea. I love that you're keeping it tight and concise, and I'm looking forward to being able to watch to see other techies and see what other people have to say. I'm excited about it.
Brilliant, because you were both, I genuinely mean it's both fabulous. And you know what, you're coming back because another idea just came into my head. What we'll do another night too, we'll get another person on us and we'll just keep it to 3 and have more roundtable discussion about things. Or you know what we'll have a debate as well about certain amounts of tech, and we'll keep this up because I have my own to plug. Follow me on TikTok, please, but definitely follow their Facebook page. Have a look at the website. Have a look at the layout of the shop, because I will just finish on this. Most businesses just do barely enough, and that's it. And the service is 10, and you'll know it. You'll know that they'll just barely do it enough, you know. I'll always say an example of going down to my friend's Aaron's, and there was a coffee shop close by, and the C on the coffee bit was missing for a couple of years, and you're like, what the hell? You know, you never go. But these people do the extra 20%. You can see it, and I think Graham is going to build us a computer as well. He's flying it in from Wales. Real true story, but I'm looking forward to visiting 10. So look, thanks very much anyone who has listened. We really appreciate it. Tui, you were just fab. And that's it. If I'll just end the record, stay on there for a sec. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.